games begin?
On the February 17th edition of the Sports Guys and Ties.
Derek Jeter with one of the most unbelievable plays you will ever see by a shortstop.
Derek Jeter calling it a career at the end of 2014. Is he one of the top 5 Yankees of all time?
Ennis, 2 seconds. He'll get a shot off on the way. Got it! He hit it!
Is this shot the best we've seen in basketball? Plus, will the Houston Texans be making a big mistake by not taking Johnny Manziel? Good to see everyone back here on the Sports Guys and Ties. Again, you can see our show every single Monday on YouTube. It's a prosandcon.com production. I'm Jason Kahn alongside Matt Galka. Now, Matt, you've had an eventful weekend going to Harry Potter.
Harry Potter
Tell us
World.
a little bit about it.
I brought the magic back. I brought the magic to the Sports Guys and Ties.
Expecto Patronum!
I hope so,
Yeah.
because the one question I have for you, probably the most important question I have for you that relates to sports. Did you learn how to play the game of Quidditch?
I not only learned, but I am the best Quidditch player you've ever seen. Don't come after me with a mediocre Harry Potter.
That's right, bro.
That's right.
No clown questions, bro. Not today. Not gonna happen. We've got a good show today, actually. Really good show. There's so many places where we can start for the headliner.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing
But the place
and listen.
that matters, I think, the most is Derek Jeter is calling it a career in pinstripes in Major League Baseball after the 2014 season. The icon who's going to go down as a legend in Yankees lore. Is he one of the top 5 Yankees in your mind in the history of baseball?
This has always been a tough one because I think you're really screwed if you don't say he is, and you're screwed if you do say he is, because there are so many Yankees legends. They always talk about, who would you put on the Mount Rushmore of Yankees?
They've been saying that all week,
Right.
talking about the Mount Rushmore.
Well, you talk about it in Yankees history. I mean,
And you only have 4 guys on the Mount Rushmore.
Only
We're talking
4.
about the top 5.
So I guess you could put Babe Ruth up there. I guess. I mean, he was
have
pretty
to.
good.
The Colossus of Trout.
The Sultan of Swat! The Great Bambino!
The king of trash, man.
Babe Ruth!
You
He
have
was
to put
okay.
Babe Ruth up there.
Mickey
Mantle?
Mickey Mantle's pretty good too.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio's okay.
Lou Gehrig?
Lou Gehrig was all right. I mean,
Yeah.
even Mariano Rivera. I mean, he was pretty good.
Right. You can go so many places.
You could do a lot with the Mount Rushmore. But if we were to put, okay, let's say it was Ruth, DiMaggio, we'll say Gehrig, and we'll say Mantle. Who are you going to take off for Derek Jeter?
It's got to be Gehrig.
You would think it would be Gehrig. I mean, the Iron Horse. But even then, can you really take Lou Gehrig off of that? It's such a question. It's a great fan question. But besides this fiction, okay, of a Yankees Mount Rushmore, Derek Jeter, yes, he is an all-time Yankee. Where exactly he is on the list, I don't think you can really ever truly judge that because it's all opinion, it's all the era and all that. But he is, of course, an all-time great Yankee. And if you were to put him in the top 5, you wouldn't be wrong. That's my opinion.
I know there are differing opinions on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook. I've seen them all. Bless you.
Thank you.
No problem. I think that the factor that is going to stand out is the eras that they played in.
Sure.
Babe Ruth played in a different era.
Sure.
Joe DiMaggio played in a different era. Mickey Mantle played in a different era. The era that Derek Jeter played in, do you think it was tougher for him to accomplish the feats that he was able to accomplish?
Well, he's the all-time Yankees hit leader. He did it with one club. He's obviously not a power hitter, but he played in the steroid era, okay? But his longevity, 19 seasons.
Played more games as a Yankee than any other Yankee.
Played all at shortstop. A lot of other people moved positions. He played it all at shortstop. And we'll throw out last year. He obviously was plagued by injuries. He did, the era helps because he was able to do it, and he was able to do it well for so long. Out of his all but one season, and we're going to throw out last year, all but one season, he's hit for 290 or better. I mean, you really can't find a better model of consistency, and obviously he was clutch in the postseason. He got it done in the postseason all the time. Yes, this era counts. I mean, he faced better pitching. He faced 90, 95, 100-mile-per-hour throwers every game. I mean, and that will put him over the top. But we're not here to debate whether he was good, obviously. We're not here to debate that.
We want to know if he's a top 5 Yankee of all time.
And I think yes. I really do think yes. And I
think what defines a career, Matt, are the moments. He had moments, and we saw it earlier, actually. The flip play at home plate against the Oakland Athletics in the postseason.
Jeremy Giambi said it.
The catch going into the stands against the Red Sox.
Yep.
It's like the moments that Michael Jordan had. That's why a lot of people consider him one of the greats of all time, because he had those moments.
Mr. November against the Diamondbacks in the 2001 World Series.
His 3,000th hit, a home run.
Yeah.
Those are the moments that define a career and make him one of the all-time greats. I would put him in my top 5 Yankees of all time.
Absolutely. And I'm not, we don't have to go through the numbers. We don't have to go.
I don't think it's necessary.
Which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yes, he is a top 5 Yankee. And if you put him on Mount Rushmore of Yankees, sure. Nobody's going to say, oh, you're crazy. I mean, he was pretty darn good. And my friend made a correlation. One of my buddies said, this is a bigger deal than Mariano. But here's the main difference with Mariano and with Jeter retiring. Mariano was the best ever at his position. I don't think Jeter was the best shortstop of all time.
Yeah.
I don't think he was the best. He was not the best shortstop of all time, but I agree with you. The moments. I can't think of another shortstop who had better moments than he did, and that's what sets him apart.
All right, well, going from the most respected player maybe in all of sports to maybe the most disrespected player right now,
Absolutely.
Richie Incognito. It's that time. Say what?
Say what again?
This is what he had to say on Twitter, among the many things he had to say on Twitter. You cannot define me in 144 years, let alone 144 pages, Mr. Wells. He's talking about Ted Wells, who came out with a 144-page report in the investigation into the Miami Dolphins locker room. Do you think that Richie Incognito should have kept quiet on Twitter?
I think people who take to social media to air their grievances are stupid anyway. I mean, I really think like that you're a whole nother breed if you go on Twitter and you go on these rants. And he went on a rant about Jonathan Martin and about how the truth will come out and all this other stuff. And then this report comes out and, Richie Incognito, it looks like he's a bully. I mean, the report would indicate by all, counts and measures here that he is a bully. No matter how many people say he's a good guy, it looks like he is a bully. He probably should have kept quiet. He wouldn't look as much of a psychopath as he does today. Here's the thing. I'm going to take a different approach to this because I'm not going to defend anything that Richie Incognito did or said.
That's okay. Go ahead.
But the news for anybody who doesn't believe this is there's a Richie Incognito in every single locker room. Every single sports locker room, there is a Richie Incognito. There is somebody who says stupid things, derogatory things. I mean, we talked about this with the Michael Sam thing last week.
Yeah, we did. We touched on it.
Where people will say slurs based on your race, your sexuality. It happens in every locker room. It happened in my college football locker room. It happened in my high school football locker room. It happened. The locker room is a weird place. And the only thing I will say is Richie Incognito got caught, I guess. He did it so bad to Jonathan Martin, and Jonathan Martin couldn't take it. And, of course, there's that weird dynamic where Jonathan Martin was friends with the good Richie, and then the bad Richie made his life a living hell. But Richie Incognito got caught. But the truth of the matter is there's an Incognito in every locker room.
Well, going back to keeping his mouth shut on Twitter, or I should say typing on Twitter, I'm not a Richie Incognito apologist in any way either. I'm not defending him just like you're not defending him, and I understand where you're coming from. I will say this, and you hear this every time someone's caught up with something. If you're going to defend yourself, scream to the mountaintop and try to defend yourself. We hear that all the time, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
I suppose. He's trying to defend himself. But I do think he's kind of caught in a trap here because he did use that language in the locker room. And it doesn't just go to Jonathan Martin. There are other players involved in this. The trainer was a victim in this.
Right.
So Incognito was not only bashing and harming his own teammate, but it went beyond that into the personnel, the staff. So while Incognito, while he's trying to scream and try to prove his innocence, I also think that Incognito is in the wrong here, and right now he's caught. Is what's happening. No matter how much he's talking, he's not going to get out of this.
Yeah, he's not going to get out of this, but I honestly think, and I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, he is actually a really good offensive lineman. Yeah. He's a really good player, and you know what that means?
Who's going to get picked up, Jonathan Martin or Richie Incognito? Martin still has a contract with the Dolphins. Will he play before Incognito plays?
I honestly think Jonathan Martin's probably going to be done with football. I don't think he's going to be able to go back to the Dolphins. He's not going to be able to look some certain people in the eye. I really don't think he'll be able to be welcomed back. But I think Richie Incognito plays before Jonathan Martin because
teams need offensive linemen.
They need offensive linemen, and he's a darn good one.
And depending on what teams get in the draft this year, we'll see. I don't know if both of them will play in the NFL, to be honest, by the time this is all said and done. All right, well, we love haters here.
Love them.
And that's why we move to Roger Goodell. A lot of people hating on Roger Goodell for his salary.
Right.
Which topped $44.2 million in 2012. You have a problem with that?
It's a lot of money. Do we hate him because he makes a lot of money? What do we think he deserves to make?
He is the commissioner of the NFL.
The NFL is the most popular sport in America. I was going to say on the planet, but soccer is the most popular sport on the planet. The NFL is the most popular sport in America. People change their weekend plans around NFL games. They change their lives around NFL games. They save up weeks of paychecks to go to NFL games.
Was it because of him?
He has certainly elevated the sport. Do you disagree, or do you think the NFL would be what it is today without him? I mean, I think he has certainly elevated the sport. I'm not saying the guy has done everything great. I mean, the concussion lawsuit, he didn't exactly navigate the NFL through that. But guess at the end of the day, 99% of people don't care. Unfortunately, they don't, and that's a harsh reality. I'm not saying I don't care about people, but they don't care. They're still going to watch. People still watch. I don't care how many people say, oh, they're changing the rules, and it's going to be Goodell is making it flag football. They're still going to watch.
Automatically, he comes under fire.
Right. I mean, he's the front man.
He is.
But
he's the guy.
I don't.
Take the hit.
I saw Roddy White tweeted out, how can he make this much money if he's not taking hits and stuff? Well, he's making a lot of the decisions that allow us to watch games on Thursday, allow us to watch primetime games. He brokers the deals. He gets the sponsors. He makes us buy the beer. He makes us buy the cars that are advertised. What does he deserve to get paid? The number doesn't shock me by any means.
It doesn't shock me. I will say this. NFL revenues topped $10 billion for the first time last season. And it's because of Roger Goodell and his plan to enhance the NFL. But I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. He makes $44.2 million in 2012. And what was the lawsuit going on in the NFL? The concussions, right? So I think a lot of those players looking on, where's my cut? Where's my piece of the pie? They want their money. Those players who are in failing health right now because of the time they played in the NFL. Why is this guy making $44.2 million and we're making nothing after football? Well, not enough to keep us healthy.
The reason is simple. I mean, the reason he's making that money is because of people like you and me who watch.
That's true.
We stop watching, we won't make any money. But we watch. We'll watch every week. We'll watch every week until they cut the cable. And that's plain and simple. So we can't complain about the guy's salary. We're the one feeding it.
One guy in the spotlight for a good reason this week is T.J. Oshie.
American hero.
He's our icon of the week.
Great
Team USA
Bambino!
goes on to beat Russia 3-2 in the shootout, and it's because of Oshie. Is T.J. Oshie's fame going to last all throughout the NHL season?
No.
I mean, it's going to be a week.
I really no. And anybody who thinks it is crazy. I don't know if anybody can remember 4 years ago, America loved Ryan Miller, goalie for Team USA Hockey. We loved Ryan Miller.
How much are we talking about him now?
Yeah, I mean, USA got the silver in large part thanks to Ryan Miller. I mean, they lost in a shootout to Canada 4 years ago. Then the NHL season started and nobody cared. Nobody cared. You walk down the street, nobody can tell you what team Ryan Miller plays for. Buffalo Sabres. But I'm just saying. No, afterward, well, all right, hockey's back. We don't watch NHL hockey, we watch Olympic hockey. So, Oshie, American hero, he beat Russia. single-handedly pretty much in that shootout. He shot all four. He got all 4 goals in the shootout. But I don't even know if we'll hear his name again in another Olympic hockey game, let alone the NHL season. What team does he play for? Do you know?
St. Louis Blues.
St. Louis Blues.
I know that, but
Yeah.
the casual fan does not know that.
No
the casual
idea.
fan is watching the Olympics right now, and they are TJ Oshie fans. Those are the people who are going to follow Oshie maybe for a little longer than some, the casual fan, because now they know his name. Go Team USA, by the way.
Team USA,
Good
baby.
stuff. Going all the way to the finals, hopefully.
Hopefully.
We'll find out. And also, our other icon of the week, Tyler Ennis.
Oh.
Your boy.
My boy.
Go ahead. You talk about it.
All right. That game, let's throw out all the great stats he's had in the final 5 minutes of games. He just committed his first turnover in the last 5 minutes of a game against NC State this past Saturday. Of all season, as a freshman, he's only committed 1 turnover under 5 minutes, okay? So let's throw that away. Basically down to Pitt the whole game. They were losing the whole game. And he throws up a 35-footer from 3. Swish. Syracuse stays undefeated on the back of the freshman. Maybe the best freshman in the nation. And Ennis Mania is sweeping this room anyway.
You feel better about yourself now?
I feel okay. I mean, hey, look.
You got that off your chest?
He has proven that. I mean, it's not just that shot. He has been great all year. He really has been great all year. And Boeheim's hesitant about freshmen, or that's his rep. But Ennis has proven that he is one of the top freshmen in the nation. And Syracuse will need him because they've had to go back-to-back games where they've won in the last 20 seconds of the game. And they will need him down the stretch if they want to even hope of winning a national title.
We promise we tell you our best shot we've seen on the basketball court of all time. College basketball, NBA included, beer pong shots not included. I know we've had a few of those.
All right, fair.
All right, game winners. I know that I had to exclude that.
All right.
We had the Christian Laettner shot for Duke. Michael Jordan shot against the Utah Jazz. Chauncey Billups, just a big shot himself. Big shot Bob, Robert Horry in the NBA. I would personally go, and I hate to say this, with the Laettner shot.
Yeah. For UNC fans, tough to
Because
say.
of the significance. Michael Jordan's shot was great. There was a little push-off though involved.
Okay. All right, dude.
All right? Listen,
right.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan, obviously. He went to North Carolina.
Right.
He goes on to win another 5 titles. Good for him. Christian Laettner, I think he brought the Duke program to prominence a little with that shot, to be honest with you. It helped create Coach K's, dynasty of sorts.
Right.
It brought the big names to Duke. I think it was all because of that Christian Laettner shot.
And he had a pump fake in there.
He did.
He had a pump
got
fake.
that in there
Unbelievably.
during that time.
All right. I can't. I don't. Just. I would say I love the Laettner shot too. I would agree with you on that one. I know this.
And you can include Tyler Ennis if you'd like.
No, that's not the best shot I've ever seen. That's not the best shot I've ever seen.
Wait,
that was the best
You're a
shot.
Syracuse fan, so I figured you might want to go and get a Syracuse guy.
That was the best shot I saw last week. Okay, that wasn't the best shot I've ever seen. I know it's still fresh. I don't think a lot of people give that shot, the 3 that Ray Allen hit last year in the finals, enough credit. Miami had no shot to win that game. They had no shot to win that game.
That was a great shot.
And he takes the step back, hand in his face, and he sinks it.
Talk about significance.
I know. In the biggest stage, the only chance they would have had, or they lose the series, they lose the title. And maybe that's just because it's fresh in my memory, but I don't think people really do give that shot enough credit. And people were heading for the exits, and they had to rush back in. But I think that Ray Allen shot, again, maybe because of recent memory, but that's got to be up there in the top 5.
All right, we're at the end of the show. Ready, aim, rapid fire. Here we go. The All-Star game was great. East wins. Kyrie Irving named the MVP. Maybe persuading LeBron to go to Cleveland when he goes pursuing free agency, if he does. But the dunk contest may have been the steal of the show.
Look, the jury's out, dude. It was a mess at the beginning. The freestyle round, it was just a mess. And then
you didn't even like the John Wall dunk?
I did. I liked the John Wall dunk, but Team East won or John Wall won. Who won? I don't know. I guess it was John Wall who did officially win. It was a mess.
It's new. I say give it another year. All right, next up, we have Carmelo Anthony saying he would take a pay cut as a New York Knick if they could field a winning team.
Does Melo know he's part of the equation? Like, he's one of the reasons they don't win as much? Because Melo is one of the best scorers in the NBA, if not the best scorer. He knows there's a whole defensive part of the game, right? Like,
I think so.
You could play at both ends of the court.
He needs to play some defense.
He can try and blame the Knicks organization, and believe me, I'm not going to defend the Knicks organization, but he's part of the problem.
All right, while he's looking for a contract extension next year, I say just take the $23 million he's owed next year and then consider talking about a contract with the New York Knicks. Next up, Bodie Miller's interview was kind of depressing.
It was awkward. I think it was weird. I understand, to get that raw emotion in prime time. I get that whole deal, but he was obviously broken down. I mean, what did NBC want for him to start bleeding? Did they want blood from him? I don't understand.
He wins the bronze. I think that's the most important part of why he should have been interviewed, was about the bronze medal,
sure,
not about his brother.
In his last Olympics.
Johnny Manziel says the Houston Texans may make the biggest mistake if they don't draft him. Do you think so?
I think, I'm not going to make comparisons to Tim Tebow. I think Manziel's better than Tebow. But
by far.
Would it be a huge mistake? I don't know. I think it would be a lot. Sell tickets, from Texas. But the last thing I want to say about Manziel, remember when we talked about WWE? Who would be a great WWE wrestler?
Sure.
I think Johnny Manziel cutting this promo on the Texans. I think that's pretty good. He's doing a shoot interview on the Texans.
We may have to go back to that.
Yeah.
At some point.
He's calling out the Texans, saying, "What you gonna do, brother, when Johnny Manziel comes for you?" That was great.
I don't think it's the biggest mistake. I think that there are a lot of great quarterbacks in this draft, or at least it appears to be Blake Bortles, Teddy Bridgewater, among others. So
sure.
Probably not the biggest mistake for the Houston Texans. All right, I think we're just about time here. So new college football rules will slow down offenses in 2020.
Dumb move. I don't. If you listen to coaches too, they seem like they were blindsided by this. They didn't hear about this. One of the reasons we love watching Oregon is because of their fast-paced offense. Why slow them down? It doesn't even prove that there's more injuries. There's more fake injuries because of the offenses.
I think it is an awful move for college football. It takes 11 seconds off the clock, gives defenses a time to read the offense. I think it's going to be a defensive college football season next year. And now teams who are hurry-up offenses, they have to change their whole game plan and schemes. We'll see what happens next season with college football. All right, I appreciate everybody watching this edition of the Sports Guys and Ties. Again, you can watch this show every single Monday. Make sure you take a look at our YouTube page. I'm Jason Kahn. This is Matt Galka. Instead of saying goodbye, say see you next week. One last thing, keep it real.